This is The Scoop for Monday.
I'm Juanita Hurtado Huérfano with the WMNF News Headlines. A new report from the United Way Suncoast finds that local families must earn more than $106,000 a year just to afford the basics. But WMNF's Luiza Campos reports there may be good news for DeSoto County.
The Alice report contains information about the number of households that earn above the federal poverty level but less than the basic cost of living. Alice stands for Asset Limited, Income Constrained, and Employed. The number of households below the Alice threshold grew in Florida, and it is the fourth highest percentage in the nation. Even with this concerning amount, DeSoto County has shown the region's greatest improvement, with 44% of families above the mark. That surprised Doug Grusenauer, the United Way Suncoast Vice President of Community Impact.
And now, while this would seem, sobering for DeSoto County, interestingly enough, it actually is a success story because only 3 years of data prior before that, they were at 35%.
Grusenauer says this improvement came from the community helping out, new businesses, and the consistent resilience of the residents.
Real collaboration from all parts of a community in order for the residents of Arcadia to have supports to be successful.
The Alice threshold is based on the survival budget, which includes the basics of housing, transportation, food, childcare, a basic smartphone plan, and taxes. For WMNF News, I'm Luiza Campos.
Florida's primary election is set for Tuesday, August 18th. Ahead of the upcoming vote, Brandon residents gathered for an informal civic event to meet with the candidates. WMNF's Daria Miranova reports on hopefuls running for Florida's 16th congressional district.
Brandon residents had the opportunity to interact directly with candidates ahead of the upcoming elections. Among those in attendance were Edward Pope and Tamika Lyles, running to represent Florida's 16th congressional district. Both are veterans. Edward Pope says he's not a politician but a public servant, so people come first.
Foster care program needs to be looked at, veteran programs, senior citizens, the environment, small businesses, people just being able to afford to just live. So I do have a Florida First agenda that kind of walks people through that. I do have a 30, 60, 90-day plan that explains how I plan on doing that.
Pope will face Sidney Gruters and Eddie Spear in the Republican primary on August 18. Another candidate, Tamika Lyles, says minority women face more challenges running for office.
Minority women seeking federal office and the inequality that involves that. It is absolutely difficult. The numbers show us that women have a more difficult time in fundraising and all of that. But if you're a minority woman, then it is exceptionally difficult.
Lyles hopes to break some barriers. She will face John Harris, Glenn Pearson, Jan Schneider, and Kelly Kirshner in the Democratic primary on August 18. For WMNF News, I'm Daria Miranova.
Last week, Governor Ron DeSantis signed a death warrant for the execution of Dennis Michael Sochor. WMNF's Chris Young reports it is the 11th death warrant signed by the governor this year.
Dennis Michael Sochor was convicted of strangling 18-year-old Patricia Gifford in Broward County in 1981. The 74-year-old is scheduled to die from lethal injection at Florida State Prison on July 14th. Grace Hanna is the executive director of Floridians for Alternatives to the Death Penalty.
I know people often say that things are unprecedented, but this is actually unprecedented. Florida has never carried out this many executions on this short of a timeline. We had 19 last year. This is the 11th death warrant this year. We are ahead of pace from last year.
The group has argued that life without parole is an alternative to the death penalty and is working on plans for a vigil for Sochor. The warrant comes a week after Andrew Lukehart was executed for the murder of a 5-month-old girl. Last year, Florida executed 19 people, a state record. Chris Young, WMNF News.
Today, it will be partially cloudy and humid with highs in the low 90s. Tonight, it will be cloudy with lows in the high 70s, and tomorrow it will be cloudy and rainy with highs in the low 90s. I'm Juanita Hurtado Huérfano with the WMNF News Headlines.
This is The Scoop, recorded at WMNF Tampa.